Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello, my friends. How we doing out there on a Monday? Monday. Today is Monday. It's Monday. It's Monday. I'm sorry. Why am I always so fascinated about what day of the week? What day of the week it is? Probably because I don't believe in time or our present reality in any way whatsoever overall. So it's easy. Sometimes I slip into being fascinated by the fact that we create days and say that they're days, and I don't know, whatever the heck I'm trying to say. Right now I'm looking at my screen to make sure if I'm buffering. I had to shut down my computer and restart a couple times before I went on today. There was a little glitch, so I'm just making sure. But everything seems to be okay. If you're seeing me, then that's great. That means everything is A-okay. Hello and welcome to Operation Status Quo here on a Monday, ladies and gentlemen. We start a fresh week once again here together, me and you and me and all of us in between. That's what we do here on Operation Status Quo. I am Pete Palma, your user-friendly host, broadcasting live from the comfy confines of my very own home here in Florida on the west side. And this is Operation Status Quo. As you know, this is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. So first, before we start, I just want to say I hope everyone's doing well out there. Hope you had a very nice Thanksgiving holiday. It's a beautiful time, and now here we are into the throes of the Christmas season, and we'll see how all that plays out. We'll see if we have a happy Christmas season or if they decide to nuke the entire world. I'm really, I always say this. I'm not sure what's going to come first, the nuclear bomb, the asteroid, or the dinosaurs are going to be resurrected and take over the earth. Now, I'm leaning towards the dinosaurs, because I hear a lot of stories out there. If you want to go into some of the deeper conspiracy things, the dinosaurs never existed. So I have no idea. I'm not an expert to speak on that, but I've heard that multiple times. So that's why I think that's the one that's going to happen. I say forget the asteroid because the asteroid, they say, killed the dinosaurs, right? So you know what I mean? So, and there were no dinosaurs. That's what they say. I don't know, so forget the asteroid, forget the aliens, and forget the nuclear bombs. I think the dinosaurs are going to resurrect and take over the earth. So if you're out for a walk one day and all of a sudden you're being chased down by a raptor, just be prepared for that because I think that's the next big thing that's going to plague humanity. All right. So today is the 27th of November in the good year 2023. Man, we're almost done this year, huh? A whole year already in the works. Really crazy how time flies, but that's the way it goes. One year leads into the next and leads into the next. And you know how that goes. And before you know it, you're collecting Social Security. Although by the time we get there now, there won't be any Social Security left. So you don't have to worry about that. You'll have something else to do instead of taking the time to collect Social Security. So anyway, it is the 27th of November, good year 2023. And today's program is entitled All Alone. Oh, who's alone? Are you alone out there? Actually, what we're going to talk about here today, ladies and gentlemen, is I found some information, as I always do here on the mainstream internet of some reasons why intelligent people would rather spend time alone. I thought this was kind of an interesting topic, and mostly because, I wanted to see how well, I figured I can really speak well on this because I am an intelligent person who prefers to be alone. So I'd like to see how, which is really odd for someone who likes to socialize as much as I do. As much as I love people and I'm gregarious and such, I can be a lot of fun in a group, all those things. It's all great, and I love all that. But, I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than solitude, I will say. And let me tell you this why. First of all, before I even get into this list, I'll just speak from my own perspective. Whether I'm intelligent or not, I'll leave that for you to decide. You can let me know in the comments below if you think I'm intelligent enough to speak on why intelligent people would rather be alone. But my main reason, and what I realized over the course of my life overall, is, the more we're involved with anything, in our life, whether this goes with jobs. It goes with everything, right? Anything you do in your life, the more involved you are in a certain regard, is always a level of distraction from, silence and space and oneness and, all that rigmarole, So, it's great to have a family. It's great to have friends and social life. And of course, it's a human need. I think we should all have that to some degree. But, there's also a space where I think everybody should just always have, I think you have to start with always always having your own space and parameters. And then all the other things you do in your life, whether it be work, family situations and all, these are just little extras that take a little bit of your time here and there, instead of like, everything taking up all your time. Because if you're always dragged into a whole life of constant things to do and interactions with other people, it kind of like, takes you off track of really reflecting of who you are and what you want, and what your true intentions are to put forth in the world. I don't know. So, and especially on top of that too, other people's energy, if you're around other people, we're always absorbing energy of those that are around us. So, if we're too much involved with other people, sometimes that energy will drain us, right? And take us off track, and it kind of brings us down. I could speak on that in a multitude of ways. And one of the best examples, quite honestly, is before COVID, and when I would still be working in the office. It was horrible for me, and I was always kind of miserable and cranky. I would get very edgy. I'd get in trouble, because I was just, I couldn't be trapped in that environment. And then on top of it, I had to be around a bunch of schmoes that I didn't really want to, talk to. You got to pretend to be nice and respectful. This is the workplace, and everybody's got to be, super courteous. It's like, no, I think you're a jerk, and I don't like you. It's like, why do I got to pretend to be nice? Is that my paycheck is predicated on me pretending to be nice to you? Can't we just get the work done? But being that I work from home now, and barely even do that, and as far as and not have to deal with people so much, I really find it to be a blessing. I notice a big difference that when I'm around people, I try to get involved sometimes with people in different ways, and I start to do a little bit of this and that, and then I realize, like, man, I just rather be by myself. So not in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad. I really do. I think it's really important for all of us to have space for ourselves. And I'll speak on this one last thing before I get into this, because the last I'm not going to get into the whole story, but I'm just going to say this. I had an experience with someone that I dated that, we actually slept in separate rooms, right? I know it might sound crazy. I'm not going to get into the whole story, but that's how it was. And I realized through that relationship how beautiful it was. Like, when you think about it, you get married or something. Now you got to share a bed with a person. And, I'm saying, like, everyone should have their space, man, and like, you could still be married and but why you got to like sleep next to you? Sleep is like one of the most important things you need. I think you should have your own space for sleep. And I would like to carry this forward in my future relationships, if I ever decide to have one of those, that I say, listen, before we start, I just want you to know, no matter how great this relationship goes, we will be sleeping in separate rooms because we all need our personal space to reflect and to be and to rest and to all that kind of thing. So just really kind of contemplate on that. Next time you're laying in bed with your spouse and you get kicked or cold feet or somebody snoring or whatever, think about how beautiful and peaceful it would be if you were just sleeping by yourself, knowing that your spouse still cares for you and they're still there, but just in another part of the house. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's get into some reasons, ladies and gentlemen, why intelligent people would rather spend time alone. And number one on the list here is negativity. Because they are smart enough to stay away from distractions and negative people, which is basically 99% of the people around. Intelligent people like to stay by themselves because they do not want to be distracted. They do not want to be involved in negativity. And I will say this is true. So far, we're one for one, because you get with people. It's always the woe is me story of like, I notice this sometimes. I have conversations with people, and I don't mind to listen to whatever is going on in someone's life. All I really care about, like if I'm really having a conversation with somebody, they can vent all day long about anything they want. I just think it's important to always give space. Like, even though you might be upset about a situation that's going on in your life or something that's happening that's making you whatever that you want to vent about, it's all great. But you always should start everything from the space of knowing that you are merely just venting, and everything is happening in the perfection that it should happen based on, God and the universe, whatever you want to say. Everything is happening the way it should for us to learn in the time we're meant to learn, our experiences, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes people just get, they're just complaining, who did this and who did that. And, that to me is annoying, only because ultimately it never is anybody else's fault of something that happens. It's always, we are the creators and the manifestors of our life, right? So whatever's happening to us in our day-to-day, quote unquote, physical reality is merely, manifestations of the energy, the reflection of ourselves that we're putting out there. So it's okay to vent, but that negativity, if you want to, get yourself around intelligent people, stop being so darn negative. Mental peace is another one. One person shared that alone is the wrong word here. I think solitude is a good word because some people love to live in peace. Mental peace is more important than anything. When you have peace, you can do multiple things with your mood. That again, that is very true. And peace, I remember somebody saying to me one time, this is like during high school. I remember this girl, I was in a music class, and we were sitting next to each other at the piano, and we were messing around with the piano, not with each other. Although she was cute, I would have messed with her, but unfortunately that didn't happen. We just we just messed with the piano. But she said to me, I'll never forget, she said, would you rather be rich or famous? And I said, I'd rather be happy, and I hold that very true to this very day. I mean, happiness and mental peace is the most important thing you can have in your life, right? If you're involved in a job or a relationship or anything that's like got you all jazzed up all the time, right? That's not benefiting anyone. Like you might feel bad to leave something, but I don't think anybody should do anything that's at the detriment to themselves, no matter how they feel it might affect someone else in a sense. A lot of people are people pleasers generally. They don't want to, have somebody say something negative about them or anything like that. So they just do what they don't really want to do, go along to get along type thing, right? And that does not bring mental peace, ladies and gentlemen. And intelligent people, and I will speak on this again, know how important mental peace is because although I seem quite insane, I do have a lot of peace. I do have a lot of peace in my mental functions. Mental navigation. Another popular comment on why intelligent people like to be alone was that intelligent people love their own space because it helps them navigate different situations in various kinds of ways. This mindset allows them to look at things differently and be more open to opportunities. This adds to their intellectual capability. So I agree. And it really just the same thing. If you're not distracted and if you are, this doesn't have to, I'm saying, of course, all this half tongue in cheek about, this is what intelligent, people do. But maybe this is just like, instead of just saying intelligent, maybe, it's people, who are really kind of aware, right? Really self-aware and are making choices that help serve them live their best life. And that's what it's all about here on Operation Status Quo. It's about, putting forth ideas to help you create your own flow of quo in the world, right? And live the way you want to live, and you'll be able to function mentally better, obviously, if you are not distracted and filled up with a bunch of nonsense from others. All right, let's see what else we got. Creativity. Intelligent people love working alone because it allows them to be in tune with their inner creative selves. They can introspect different fields and even think outside of the box. When there are so many people around, it is difficult to think quietly and creatively because there's chaos all around. And again, that speaks for itself as well. If you're trying to come up with an idea, I'll say this too. It's funny, even aside from people, distracting you from, being creative and such. I noticed myself, if I really want to kind of, even when I'm about to do a show here or something, I say, well, I got to come up with some sort of idea to talk about, right? I don't want any distractions. I don't want any music on. I don't want any noise coming out of my phone. I really just kind of focus on what I'm doing. And, it really kind of speaks for itself, right? Honestly, if you want to accomplish anything, there has to be focus and quiet in a way to let your mind have the space to allow the ideas to come forth. Inspiration is another one. One person said they like to be alone. I find inspiration and concentration and focus in loneliness. It's time with me, God, and the universe. Well, that sounds like a pretty nice crowd, right? I wouldn't mind. I like hanging out with God and the universe. I hang out with them all day, basically. They're my best buddies, except for my cat. But you do get inspired. I'll agree with that too. It's really, I'm just, I'm thinking of it as I read it, myself, and inspiration for bringing this show back in March when I started doing Operation Status Quo instead of what it was before. That kind of just came to me. I had shut down the show and I was going to really just kind of let it go. And then I woke up one morning and felt inspired and had this whole idea for Operation Status Quo. And that's because I didn't have somebody sleeping next to me all night snoring and keeping me awake and ruining my peace. So anyway, peaceful is another one. Being alone is peaceful. Helps them find inner peace, right? So I mean, listen, that speaks for itself too. The world is so crazy. If we even just stop watching the news and paying attention to the daily world events will help bring peace. Personal conversations. One person said, we are likely to have the best conversations with ourselves. It's like two intelligent people in one room. So I like to talk to myself because I feel like, I just need somebody with a brain in between their ears to have a good conversation with. And I go, oh, wait a minute, that's me. I'll talk to myself. Hey, oh, how about that for intelligence? Hey, oh man, oh man, oh man. Personal conversations. Honestly, at the heart of all this is going back to the very first thing I said before I started even reading the list. We all need to start from a space of our own space, and everyone else around in our lives are, extracurricular in a way. It's really, your whole life is your relationship with yourself, your connection with God and source and such. That's really what it's all about. And you're never alone. That's the thing. People put so many people in their lives because they're so of this idea of being alone and afraid to, not have others around. But I mean, I'm just speaking from myself, and I'm speaking from myself as a person that always had a lot of friends and family and different things, and was always involved in a lot of stuff. And as the years have gone on, and maybe it speaks to age too, as you get older, you just don't want as much hassles in your life, but the more you can be that space on your own is really a beautiful thing. My aunt, who died a couple of years ago, going on 2 years. She was 100, just going to be 100, just about 102 before she passed. I guess it was August will be 2 years that she passed. So anyway, but she was about to turn 102, and she lived alone for most of the way. She was married when she was younger, and then they got divorced. And she was, my whole life knowing her, she was, alone or whatever. But, she lived alone and everything. And she lived healthy, 102, being by herself. I'll never forget because, I used to say to her as a kid, how can you live alone? How can you be all by yourself? I grew up in a house. It was my mom, my brother, my grandparents, and even my great grandmother for a while until she passed away. But, and I couldn't imagine, not being in a house with other people, because after that I was married for a time, so I lived in the house with her. And anyway, so I was never alone until I got divorced. This is when I really first started living alone, and then I realized how beautiful it was. And I wish I would have just skipped the whole damn marriage and went right to living alone. I could have saved myself some turmoil for 8 years. Oh my gosh. Hey-o. Yeah, but every experience teaches us what we need to learn to better ourselves. That's what it's there for. It's just a matter of what you decide to use it for. But then when I was living alone, she would say to me, well, what do you think now about living alone? I go, oh, Aunt Rose. I said, you are absolutely 100% right. I love it. It'd be hard for me now to go back to and living with other people. If I had somebody in my life now, I'd probably have to get a duplex, and we live in two separate spots, or at least a house big enough that I don't have to see the person all the time. I don't know. But anyway, no distractions. That's a good one too. More focus, and you can think better and accomplish more, right? I mean, distractions are distractions, whether it be other people, a job you don't like, going into the job. I only say that about the jobs so much because it's not that I don't believe in working. I just feel that most of us are not working for our purpose in a sense. And maybe not every job has to be some grand job that's serving some big humanitarian purpose or something, but at least something that that resonates with who you are, and you go through your day and you feel like you're accomplishing something. I'm just speaking on it because my work history, especially over these past 15 years, with the government, it's deplorable. It's not real work. It's bullshit. It's just all cover your ass crap and a bunch of people pontificating on crap that don't mean crap. It's very unfulfilling. Nothing's really getting done with a greater purpose in mind. It's all just about wasting taxpayer dollars so they can take more taxpayer dollars the next year. Continued learning is another one on this list because we're too busy learning new things and taking up enjoyable hobbies that we forget to socialize. So, I don't know if they're saying that in a bad way. I guess you're saying you can learn more because you're not socializing, right? You have absolutely nothing to do, so you read a book. I think balance is important. You have to have some socialization. You have to get out. Even if you go out by yourself, there's plenty of times I've gone out to a bar or sit at the bar and get a meal and chit chat with whoever's around. I mean, it's nice to get out around people, but if you're engrossed in it all the time. I don't have to tell you, most of the people out there are living that life where, they're married and kids and soccer games and I don't know, PTA meetings and, just goes on, right? And you're just so consumed that you never even have time to say, wait a minute, what's my name again? So, high standards. One person comment, intelligent people have high standards. They don't like stupidity, and so they tend to be very selective, which makes them look against socializing. In reality, most of them feel alone or isolated because they hardly find a partner or a friend that is on the same level or of smart and intelligence. I don't want to speak on this as say like I think I'm so smart or something, but I will say that I do find it difficult to find people to resonate with. And I don't want to even use the word smart so much because it's not like who's smart. Everybody's could be smart in a way, right? You might can learn something generally. I mean, some people aren't the quickest thinkers in certain regards, but in general, I think we all have the capacity for that. But I find myself, the reason I have quote unquote I wouldn't even say it's high standards per se. I just have a standard of, I don't want bullshit and I don't want drama. I don't want nonsense. I want to be able to talk to people on a level that they understand. It's hard to find other people that, just really believe that this world is the dream life. And, people are so entrenched in their physicality and their world that, it's hard to get, past all that. Like you're always, I feel like a lot of times with people, I always got to come down to this level to, instead of being up where I am. And I don't, mean that like smarter than. I mean that more of like, just like, human wise of, no one realizes that they're not their body. Like, everybody really believes that they're their body. Like, I don't believe I'm Pete. Like, I'm just an energetic expression. And, Pete that's why I even tease with this show and say I'm just merely the conduit through which Operation Status Quo flows, right? Because that's just the way it is. Like, you're not really you. You're just, you're just an observation point. You're just an observer, anyway. So, I just want to make sure that, whatever I'm saying here doesn't come across as like, haha, smart. It's not even about smart, it's about being true to yourself. And if being true to yourself means that you are around, a lot of people all the time and, that's your life, that's great. But I think everything should start with people being real with themselves and what they really want. I think, unfortunately, most people don't even understand that thought process or have the capacity to even understand what they want, right? Because so much bullshit is force-fed through our mainstream programmed agenda crap that people don't even know what they want. So, it kind of makes it hard. Next on the list is trust issues. One person commented saying intelligent people always have trust issues with everything they encounter and that they are perfectionists. So, that could be, trust issues could be. I don't find that for me. It's not that I don't trust. It's just that, like, I just kind of know, when I meet people, I get the gist of what I'm dealing with and whether I want to spend my time in that regard or not. Some people say that because they're know-it-alls. Intelligent people think they're know-it-alls and they know everything, so they don't want to be around other people. And they also say that their intelligence doesn't get shared. They don't want their intelligence to get shared. So they're being a little funny here. I guess they're being funny here, but I like to share. I always like to share. That's the problem I find too. Like, again, not intelligence, but just the ideas and the concepts that, that I vibe with, I like to share. And I find that doesn't always go over so well either. Because, again, people aren't resonating with what I'm saying. Scheduling hassle-free. Yes, obviously, if you are by yourself and do your own thing, you don't have to worry about mitigating your time and such for other people's schedules and needs. Does it sound selfish to be alone in some certain regard? I'm always about helping people. If somebody wants to, listen, anybody needs anything, wants anything, I'm always happy to be involved. It's just a matter of, let's just set the time and the space for what that needs to be. It's not like, an all day thing that I'm just hanging here waiting to, solve all your problems, but it is a beautiful thing to not have to answer to anybody. I can do whatever I want whenever I want. If I decide right now to shut this show off and, go do something, I can just go do it. If I decide tomorrow I want to take a drive to, Wisconsin, I could do it, so I don't have to plan it out with anybody. Let's see. I got a couple more here, or is that it? Let's see. These are some of the negative ones, I guess. Fear of being challenged. Some people say intelligent people want to be alone because they're fear of being challenged. But I wouldn't agree with that because personally, I do feel I'm an intelligent person, although I'm not trying to make it like I feel like I'm better than anybody else. And I don't mind being challenged at all. Like I would love for another person to share their views and we can have a little back and forth. It doesn't mean they're going to change my mind or I'm going to change theirs. But if we both have space of just being honest with ourselves and saying, listen, I'm not saying you're wrong, but this is kind of how I feel. I don't mind being challenged, But if you're going to tell me that, try to change the way I'm doing my shit, then we're going to have a problem. And we're not going to have a problem. We're just not going to associate, right? Because everybody has to respect each other's space and boundaries. Energy drain. Yeah, some people say that others drain your energy, and this is totally true. It's kind of what I said in the beginning too. When you're with other people, you're taking up their energy, and if they're not aware of their energy and what they're putting out, if they have a lot of negativity or anger in their life, whether they say it or not, that's vibrating at that frequency, and unless you know how to protect yourself from that, which basically is like get the hell away from it, but you're taking it on. So the deeper you get, the more others will misunderstand you. That's exactly what I was saying. I try to talk deep and I always lose people. But remember that show I was talking about when I met with the new real estate people, and I just laughing because then what I say? I said, they're trying to tell me how the business, ideas to get the business started and do, and I start going into this all like metaphysical, life is all one, and I'm trying to explain to them why I'm not so much into business, and it's just like they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you want to sell houses or you want to write a poem? I'm not sure what you're trying to do here, but yeah, so people can be a drain on your energy, especially when you're misunderstood. You feel kind of criticized or just feeling misunderstood is not really good, to be honest with you. So let's see. Is there anything else? Let me check here. No, that was the last one. That was the last one, ladies and gentlemen. So let's give a round of applause for reasons why intelligent people like to be alone. How did you rate? Heyo. Let me know in the comments below if any of these seem to hit the chord with you, and if not, at least why maybe some people that don't want to talk to you maybe realize that they're actually very intelligent. I find that most people who are pretty intelligent know better than to speak with me, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not to, and you guys are very intelligent. I just want to say that right off the bat because you wouldn't be here tolerating the nonsense of Operation Status Quo if you weren't. So, hey, listen, I thank you for your time today. We're always having a good time here on Operation Status Quo. As I always say, don't forget to stay positive and just, stay in your space, and just stay in your space. Don't let anybody take your space. That's really even what I was just talking about here. I mean, all this we're joking around about intelligent and why intelligent people stay by themselves. But the truth is it's about you being real with yourself, maintaining your space, your connection to source. Let life lead the way, let life lead the way through you. It's all there for you. And we don't have to force and press and make everything happen. So, and I think you'll find that the more, aside from the intelligent thing, the more that you want to connect internally and find that space, the more you don't want the distractions of the outside world that kind of, limit our ability to grow and change and become better people, right? So anyway, that's what's going on here today on Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I thank you for your time so much. If you haven't done so already, please, why not? It'll be fun. Like, subscribe, share. Send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. As you very well know, I love each and every one of you individually as well as a group. God bless you out there. And until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.